Ashby Brain with the Johnston County Visitors Bureau here for another year of the 301 Endless Yard Sale Facebook Live video. This is the third year that we've done one of these, I believe, and this year I'm switching it up a little bit. So the previous years you've probably seen me with Natalie Morgan from Morgan's on Main in Benson, North Carolina. We've come to the other end of Johnston County this year. We're here with Melody Worthington from the Tobacco Farm Life Museum in Kinley, North Carolina.
Yes, thank you and welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you for sitting down with me and taking the time to talk about the 301 Endless Yard Sale.
Oh, it's an exciting time for us.
So. Yeah, you have been doing it a few years. How long have you been with the Tobacco Farm Life Museum and then the yard sale?
So I've been with the museum, started off as curator, now I'm the director for 11 years now. And we started the second year that you guys ran the 301 yard sale. So
yeah, we're in year 7, I think,
yes,
this year. I'd lose track a little bit because it's been so long, it seems. But at this point, I feel like this year we're saying the sale puts itself on. I think if we didn't do anything, it would still happen.
Yes, and I feel like we're kind of in the same spot. We have the same vendors coming back. We've increased that number this year, but we know where our spots are. Everything's really easy to set up and just to run with.
Yeah, absolutely. So if this is your first time for the 301 Endless Yard Sale, and even if it's not, just some things to go over for this year, it is going to be June 14th and 15th. So that is this Friday and Saturday. So we're just a few days out from the sale. The hours are around 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. is what we normally say. Some vendors get out a little bit later, some vendors get out a little bit earlier, some vendors pack up a little earlier, some a little later, but that is sort of the bulk of the sale every day happens from around 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. So again, this weekend, so starting Friday at 7 a.m. and that is 100 miles. So remember, the 301 Endless Yard Sale, it does include Johnston County, which is where we are now, but it also includes Harnett County to our south, and then Wilson, Nash, and Halifax County to our north. So over 100 miles starting in Weldon, North Carolina, and going all the way down to Dunn, North Carolina. In Johnston County, your participating towns are going to be Kinley, which is where we are now. We're actually kind of on the Kinley-Wilson line here at the Tobacco Farm Life Museum. And then also Micro, then you'll hit Selma, which is where the sale originated, which is also where you have a lot of antique stores. And then Smithfield into Four Oaks, and finally Benson is your last stop in Johnston County before you hit the Harnett County line. So we're going to go over the beginning and ending spots really quickly, because I know on the Facebook page we get a lot of people who ask us, obviously, where are the major vendor locations, and Tobacco Farm Life Museum is one of them, and we're going to go over that in a second. But they say, where should I start? Well, the answer is really anywhere. So I know that you probably get some people starting here.
Yes, we're a good central location along the route.
Yes.
And we have 30 to 35 vendors on site each day.
Fantastic.
So
that's awesome. You guys, I feel like you're growing every year.
Yes, every year. And we have some knickknacks, furniture. We have craftsmen and artisans who come up. We're going to have a woodworker who has turned bowls and basket weavers and quilters, as well as the typical stuff you would see at the yard sale.
Okay. Yeah, so Kinley ends up kind of being a good halfway point. I know some people treat Selma as the halfway point. A lot of people will start in the middle and go from Johnston County north one day, Johnston County south another day. Other people start at the very northern part and work their way south over 2 days. Some people do the opposite. So just to let you know, the most northern starting point is Riverside Mill in Weldon as far as vendor areas go, people who are selling vendor spaces. So you'll see a lot of vendors in one particular area. So that's going to be Riverside Mill in Weldon to the north, and that's in Halifax County. And then Hood Memorial Church in Durham is our most southern vendor spot on the route this year. For more information on vendor locations while we're talking about it, you can go to the 301endlessyardsale.com, and there, if you scroll down, there will be vendor maps listed by county. So each of the 5 counties has their own vendor map. It has all the vendor locations, including the Tobacco Farm Life Museum. It has contact information and directions. So if you're a shopper, you can get directions to the vendor locations. If you are a vendor or you want to become a vendor, there are still people selling spots along the vendor route. Do you guys have any spots left?
No, we
Okay.
are full.
So some people do fill up. I know that, so you guys are full. TWM, I believe, is full. I think I saw that Brightleaf Farmers Market still has some spots available in Johnston County. Can't speak for the other counties, but you can go on 301illyardsale.com and check it out. So the other thing I want to talk about is weather. I know we got really lucky last year, and looks like we're going to get really lucky this year. Fingers crossed. So last year I showed up at the Tobacco Farm Life Museum. I want to say it was Saturday morning, and it was like 60 and breezy. It was beautiful. It wasn't too hot. I know some years in the past it's been hot or it's been rainy. So yeah. Well, this year I looked at the regional weather report, and it looks like for Friday we're going to have sunny skies. It's going to be less humid, highs in the mid 70s and 80s. So maybe a little hot mid-afternoon, but nothing too bad. I know previous years it's been in the 90s.
And it poured at
Yes,
the very
it
end
did.
last
It
year. Oh my goodness, it was perfect timing. But
Yeah, it held out to the very end last year. So Saturday, partly cloudy skies, warm, highs in the mid 80s, so a little bit warmer than Friday, but still I think starting off the day pretty cool. And I know most people like to get out early anyway.
Yes.
So
And we're lucky here. We're a prime location because we have so much shade.
Ooh,
So
that's
all
true.
of our pine trees block that. So we're a good location for later in the afternoon too, as well as
Okay.
early in the morning.
good to know. Good to know. Okay, so I was going to ask you, as far as your location, I know you've talked a little bit about what shoppers can find. But you also have Concession, so a good place to stop and eat. So talk a little bit about that.
Yes, so we'll have some honey buns in the morning for sale, but we'll do hot dogs and sodas and chips. But this year we are getting some local corn from Sullivan Farms, and we're going to be roasting some corn on the grill. So this is the first year we're going to be doing that, and we're really excited about that.
Awesome. Just some other notes as far as food and concession. You'll see some food trucks that are local, some nonprofits that are local that are going to be selling food along the route. They have to be a local business or nonprofit. They have to either be already inspected by the health department or have one of those nonprofit exemptions from the health department. So please don't purchase food out of anyone's home, things like that. It sounds laughable, but we've seen it. So also keep in mind all of our local restaurants along the route. In Johnston County, some of our local restaurants include Glenda's Sweet Shop and Benson's right off 301, Hills of Snow, which is a great snow cone place in Smithfield right off 301, Holt Lake, which is a good barbecue joint in Smithfield off 301, and then also Storm and Norman's right here in Kinley right off 301.
Yes, an excellent stop.
Yeah, really good, especially if you want to pair the sort of yard sale Americana road trip with Eastern style North Carolina barbecue. Definitely if you're coming from out of the region or out of state, that's something that you have to try before you go home.
Oh
Sure.
yes, absolutely.
So also speaking of people from other places, we asked this year again on our Facebook page, thank you to everyone who responded, where you're coming from. And so we got a ton of places in North Carolina, which makes total sense. But we also got Canada this year. So we've gone international. There's some people coming in from Ottawa, Canada. Shout out to the Canucks coming in. We're excited to have you. And then also Maryland, Delaware, Florida, Virginia, and Kentucky were also mentioned.
Wow,
So
that's impressive.
Once again, yeah, bringing in a ton of people from out of state, which we are excited to have you.
Yes.
What would you consider to be some, like, if you're from out of North Carolina or you're not from the South, some like classical, typical Southern antiques that people look for along the route?
Of course, tin signs like we see behind us
Yes.
are popular, and we do have a vendor who collects items such as that.
Okay.
We've seen baseball cards, we've seen knives, lanterns, glassware, paintings. I mean, we've got a couple of groups who are bringing estate items.
Okay.
So we will have some, probably small furniture and other items that are being sold. So
Yeah, I would say tobacco baskets are really big, and milk glass, which is a southern, I don't even really know what milk glass is now that I think about it. It is what it sounds like. It's milky glass.
Yes,
It's not see-through.
Can be found in vases or
Right.
cups or bowls.
Yeah, interesting. Now I'm gonna have to go look up what milk glass is. Okay, so other great vendor spots in Johnston County, obviously Tobacco Farm Life Museum, also TWM Antiques in downtown Selma is a really good place that has a lot of vendors set up. South Johnston High School and between Four Oaks and Benson is a really good place, and then also just downtown Benson in general, you normally see a lot of vendors set up along the street. And Benson, similar to Selma, has some antique DIY shabby chic stores that are participating through sidewalk sales and things like that. So if you're missing Natalie Morgan from Morgan's on Main, who's my usual partner in crime for these videos, then you can go visit her in Benson Friday and Saturday, and she will be participating in the sale. So also don't forget to bring cash, sunscreen, water, stay hydrated. I know that you guys are going to be selling water here with
Yes.
the concession. A lot of places along the route are going to be selling water, so as it gets warmer throughout the day, just make sure that you stay hydrated. How are we doing, Jenna? What's it looking like?
Doing good. We have about 15 viewers right now.
Hi, all 15 viewers. How are you? Thank you for joining us. If you just joined us, I'm Ashby Brame. I'm with the Johnston County Visitors Bureau. This is Melody Worthington. I'm saying that right?
Yes.
Correct? Okay. With the Tobacco Farm Life Museum in Kinley, North Carolina. So just so people are like, what is that? Where is that? How is that? So explain what the Tobacco Farm Life Museum does.
Yes, so the Tobacco Farm Life Museum is in its 36th year. We are a nonprofit, and our mission is to preserve and present the history and heritage of the rural farming community. So on site, we have a 6,000 square foot gallery. We have 8 historic buildings, including a workshop, a pack house, a homestead with a separate kitchen, a tobacco barn, and a one-room schoolhouse. So the buildings will be open on Saturday for a discounted rate. It's $5 for the gallery, and then the buildings out back will be open. We'll have special teachers packets that we hope that you guys will grab at the concession stands. And they'll include educational information on group tours and coloring books, thanks to some of our sponsors, Duke Energy and the Department of Agriculture, for working with us on those. So we've got lots to see here on the grounds, and we hope that it just continues to grow and expand as we go forward. And we're thankful for all that you guys do. We know you spend a good portion of the year working on this event.
Yes, it does feel like that sometimes.
Yeah.
So, but all good things, you know, like working on the event is wonderful. We're happy to put it together. We have wonderful partners like you guys as vendor locations along the route. We also partner with all of the other counties' destination marketing organizations, just like the Johnston County Visitors Bureau. We work with the Wilson County, Halifax County, Harnett County, and Nash County Visitors Bureau to help put this on. So a big thank you to everyone who helps organize this, and a big thank you to all the vendors who show up. I think this year we're going to have over 500 vendors and probably over 10,000 shoppers. So it gets bigger every year.
Yes.
Which is awesome. But again, I think that if we literally stopped doing everything that we do next year, people would still show up. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, we estimate we see about 1,500 to 2,000 visitors each day. And last year we had motor coaches show up, which was
That's
super
awesome.
exciting.
Yeah.
So you just never know what you're going to find. We found pogo sticks for my little girl and
That's
all
awesome.
kinds of fun stuff. Yeah.
Kids these days, do they even know what pogo sticks are?
I know, but she has had a blast with it.
That's great.
And we even found a vintage Barbie like hairstyling
Oh, wow.
setup. So it was like the old, you sit under blow
Right.
dryers, you know, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
I think I like the scope of the sale. So kind of like what you're talking about, where people are looking for really serious antique pieces, like the signs and the tobacco baskets. But it's also just people who live along 301 throwing stuff into their yards. So you're going to find vinyl records, old toys, babies' clothes. I've seen boats. I've seen washers and dryers. I've seen an interesting collection of things, which is exciting. So it really doesn't matter if you're just coming out because you're big on yard sales and you're looking for the typical sort of yard garage sale fair, or if you're a serious antique collector or an antique vendor looking to, you know, up inventory for your store, things like that. Actually, speaking of antique stores, I wanted to let you guys know that tomorrow, so the sale is Friday and Saturday, tomorrow is Thursday, so Thursday the 13th, Selma, where it all sort of began, is going to be having what they're calling a preview day. This is the first year they've ever done something like this. We're really excited about it. So the antique stores that do not have booths, that have physical store locations, are having a preview day, because what they do is, in preparation for the sale, they increase their inventory to get ready for shoppers and to get ready for people who are going to be vending, who want to shop the antique stores before the sale. So preview day is tomorrow. It's 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and you will get to shop the Selma antique stores before the crowds come in. So if you're already in the area for the sale, or if you're local to the area, definitely check out preview day tomorrow. Again, that's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And some of the participating businesses are going to be Reed's Country Sampler, Treasury Antiques, A Matter of Record, which is a really cool used record store in downtown Selma that I love. I get all my vinyl records from there. Lee's Modern Thrift Store, Keepsake Corner, Trackside Antiques, Country Boy Antiques and Bottle Shop, the Cotton Mill, and then TWM Antique Mall. So really excited about that. Also, speaking of social media, again, hi, if you're just joining us, 301 Endless Yard Sale live video. Super excited to be here. Ask some questions, we'll answer them. We'll also be following this post after the video to answer any questions that people have. Remember to get social, so tag your finds as you move along the sale. Also, if you have any questions while you're on the sale, 301 Endless Yard Sale Facebook page has, we're always checking the messages and things like that. So it has people on there that can answer your questions, and people have been asking a lot of questions in the last 2 to 3 days. So hashtag 301 Endless Yard Sale on Twitter and Instagram is a really good way to follow along with the sale. People are posting what they find, vendors are posting what they have, so that's a really good way to keep up with everything that's going on. There will also be Instagram signs, and I know you're going to have one of them.
Yes.
So we had, probably 3 or 4 years ago, I feel like, we had Instagram signs made, and it is a poster, a giant poster, where you get to be inside an Instagram frame. And you can post about it.
Kind of like Antique Roadshow. You get to
Yes.
show off what you find.
Yes, exactly. So
We won't tell you a value, but
Yeah, exactly. We don't know how valuable what you found is, but we would love to see it. So definitely be looking out for those Instagram cutout boards. There's one at Tobacco Farm Life Museum. There's going to be one in downtown Selma and one in downtown Benson. And the Visitors Bureau for the one in Selma and Benson has also provided free bottled water near the signs to draw people in. So we're trying to trick you with free stuff to using our social hashtag. So we hope it works. And then also wanted to talk about safety. So before we move into safety, is there anything else that you can think of that you want to talk about?
well, we'll see a lot of independent salespeople
Okay.
through the yard sale as well. I know there's going to be several locations with paparazzi. We'll have
Ooh,
one
okay.
here on Saturday. Tupperware, we've got a Tupperware rep, Mary Kay.
Okay.
So, you know, support those small businesses as well.
Yes,
And we appreciate the support for the nonprofits and working us into your plan for the long term as well.
Absolutely.
It makes a difference, and so that's what helps us out here, buying from the concession stand out front.
Yes, I know that you'll see nonprofits along the way doing stuff like that. The one that I know for sure about is the South Johnston Booster Club. So that particular vendor space will also be offering food, and that will be going to athletics, to the Booster Club. And I think the football team helps run it. So
Yeah, another good cause.
another really good cause. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about safety. We're always very aware that the sale causes extra traffic, cars and pedestrians along the route. 301 is a highway. There's not a lot of places where it has sidewalks, so we all have to kind of work together, watch out for one another. The committee has always, that helps organize the sale across the different counties, has always been very aware of this. We each work with our local police, fire, EMS to make sure that they understand that the sale is happening. We work with Johnston County Emergency Services, specifically in Johnston County, so that they can give us some pointers on safety, and also so they know that the 301 Endless Yard Sale is going on, and that 301 maybe is not a great emergency route for those 2 days. Because if you want to get somewhere quickly on 301 on this Friday and Saturday, it's not going to happen.
Not the day.
Just accept it, go through all of the stages, internalize, move forward. If you're in the area and you want nothing to do with the sale, it's totally fine. Just maybe don't go on 301 for Friday and Saturday. So anyway, parking safety. So be sure to park your vehicle completely off the road. Be aware of parking in front of public access throughways, into and out of parking lots, near emergency services buildings. So for instance, maybe don't park in front of a fire station. Logic would dictate that, but I'm just saying, we have it written down here. Also, don't block private driveways. The other thing to know about 301, and one of the reasons that the sale is so successful, is there are a lot of residents on 301, and a lot of them will be having sales. Some of them will not be. Please do not block someone's driveway. Treat others as you would want to be treated. Driving safety. Always look where you are going. Again, we kind of have to say it. I know that you're sort of slow rolling through some of these places. You're like, oh, is that vintage Marc Jacobs purse I've always wanted? And you're not really looking at the road. But please, if you think you see something you might like, pull off the road completely. Go look at it while you're not driving. Cars will be stopping suddenly. There will be pedestrians near the roadway, which is not normal for 301. So please maintain a high degree of awareness. Be sure to stay off the phone. Even if you're not on 301 for the sale, just know if you're trying to get somewhere, just be more cautious than you would normally be on 301 these 2 days. If you are walking, so you are a pedestrian, use caution when walking near the roadway. Pay attention to traffic. Remember, usually in rural areas on 301, that it is a highway, so when stopping at residential yard sales along the sale, and a lot of those places, the driveway will be full. There is not a parking lot for you to pull off into. Just please pull your car completely off the highway. A lot of places don't have a huge median, so you'll be kind of pulling into someone's yard or someone's grass. But just make sure, if at all possible, if you're stopping at a private residence, that you're using caution as a driver and a pedestrian. And then also, last but not least, most important, be mindful of emergency vehicles. So we just want to remind everyone knows the emergency vehicle etiquette. When the road is busy, it can be a little bit more difficult. But due to increased traffic on 301, that's one of the reasons that we work as a county with our emergency services, and that every county along the 301 Endless Yard Sale route does work with their emergency services. They know that they are to try to take alternative routes that day, but sometimes calls will require that they travel on 301. If you hear sirens, if you see an emergency vehicle approaching, please just slow down and pull to the right. If approaching an emergency scene on the highway, again, slow down, use caution when passing emergency workers. So I think that's it for today. Do we have any questions? Anything came in? Should we make sure?
I have a question.
Okay.
What are some of the best handmade items that you normally see?
Oh, I've seen, I can't describe what I've seen. I guess it's like people make wreaths and stuff, but also, I don't know if it was a birdhouse or a bird feeder or something out of like old tin vegetable cans that you could hang. It was very unique. It was interesting. So I've seen a bunch of different handmade crafts and items.
Kind of like those card tags made into purses.
Yes.
And,
Yes, a lot
Yes.
like that.
Yeah, we have very skilled craftsmen who will be here, but our basket weavers are always a hit. They pretty much sell out, so if you want a basket, come early. The wood crafts were very impressive last year, and we're excited he's coming back this year. Our quilter will be on site, so
okay.
lots
Cool.
of really nice, and she'll be selling patterns and jelly rolls, so if you're a quilter, you know what that means. Yeah, we'll have jewelry makers. Every year we have a jewelry maker come on site, so she'll be here. We got lots of stuff here, but we are not unique to the entire yard sale. You'll see all kinds of fun stuff and antiques. We will have lots of restrooms on site, so that makes us an excellent stop for a halfway or to start or to end at. So
Absolutely. Cool. Well, thank you for joining me, Melody.
Yeah, thanks for
I
having
appreciate
us.
it.
And
Thanks for hosting us at this wonderful location.
Absolutely.
It feels kind of thematic because it's got the old-timey, antique kind of stuff going on. So it's been wonderful. So again, this video, once we are no longer live, will be available on the Facebook page. We will be responding to questions, and you can message us on the Facebook page, and we will respond to you that way as well. So thank you so much for joining us for this Facebook Live. Feel free, again, to message us with any questions, and have a happy and safe treasure hunting, everyone. See you at the sale Friday and Saturday.
see you there.
Bye.